In this GoPro Hero 9 video, I'm gonna go over 5 ways that you can fix bad GoPro footage before you hit record. Hey, Jordan Thomas, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, and for those of you that have been here before, welcome back. What's poppin'? Today we're gonna be going over how to fix bad GoPro footage. I don't know about you, but ever since the GoPro Hero 9 video came out, I've been seeing lots and lots of reviews, and where I think reviews are excellent, and I may do one eventually, I wanna know how I can get the best out of the GoPro when I pick one up. And since I've been using it since the Hero 4, I've picked up a few things along the way that I think might be helpful for you. And the good news is you don't need a crazy location, a crazy lifestyle in order to do this, but you do need to have just a little bit of focus on a handful of things. So let's start with number 1. You want to be able to nail your shot selection. And this is as simple as getting your composition together, making sure that the things that you want in your frame, in it, and the things that you don't, take it out. One of the nice things that I like about this version of the Hero 9 is that the back screen is now a little bit larger, so I can see more clearly what it is that I'm filming when I'm filming others. And then for the times that I'm standing in front of the camera, particularly when I'm running in front of it, I can now see what's going on. Now, once you get to higher frame rates, higher resolution, the screen doesn't operate as real time, but for the times that I want to like sit down on a track and record myself talking, or just get a better understanding of where I might end up when I'm running past the camera, that front-facing camera is money. There's been plenty of times that I've just had to, tough it out using the back screen, using people walking by, guests, miss shots. Well, this is going to be one more thing that's going to help me be a little bit better and ultimately help you be better. Number 2, you want to match your settings to the situation that you're going to be in. Listen, there are more options available here than the Cheesecake Factory menu. Make sure you maximize the resolution for what you intend on doing with it. When it comes to be able to get like an establishing shot or some shots that are going to be very tightly in, I'm going to go with the maximum resolution because I'm not going to be filming it very long, maximum maybe 10 seconds or so. So I want as much resolution as possible so I can manipulate the frame around. When it comes to being able to record like a talking or a speaking section, I used to love the 2.7K at 24 frames per second that was offered on the Hero 7, but with the Hero 9, I just go ahead and go with the 4K at 24 frames per second. And then when it comes to fast moving subjects, I go with 2.7K, 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, depending on how much light I have available. Look, this subject could be its own video. Let me know in the comments whether or not you want to see an entire video dedicated to what settings I use for all the various situations that I use. But the 3 that I went over are primarily the ones that I use. Number 3, presets. You get the ability to use what already exists. And so if all the things that I just said to you before in terms of the setups that I like sound like, how are you going to remember all those things? You don't have to anymore because once you lock them in, you can just leave them that way. And the nice thing about the presets that the GoPro starts you off with is that they are customizable as well as you can add a bunch of other ones. And I think you start off with like 4. I think you can have as many as 10, I want to say. The nice thing is though with these is that you have that option available, and so you can do a little tweaking here and there based off of your situations. Now for me, I tend to just keep 3 or 4 because I want to be able to get to the settings that I need very quickly. The other thing I would say is that I go with a sharpness of a low or a medium. High, I feel like is like way too sharp. Low is pretty much ideal when I'm going to spend the additional time doing the color grading and correcting. And then if I'm just kind of like just wanting to grab a quick memory for myself, I'll just set it to medium. Now, one of the things that you may notice depending on when you bought your GoPro Hero 9 is that you may have noticed that the touch area was a little bit wonky, like it was not as responsive, and you would think something like buttons working or a touchscreen on a touchscreen camera would work more seamlessly. That's one of the things I think is nice about the presets, though, is that even if you had to stumble through that, you're able to get them in place and then keep it moving. Also, as of 10/22, GoPro released an update and they were able to fix that issue as well as reduce some of the sharpening that's associated with the medium profile. You want to make sure you stabilize your footage, unless you're just in the habit of giving your audience a nauseating type of feeling. You're going to want to take advantage of not only being able to use things like tripods or being able to use a steady hand when you have, but take advantage of the in-body image stabilization that's available. And that's going to be through Hypersmooth. Now, one of the cool things to me about Hypersmooth is that starting with version 1, it started to take out kind of like those micro jitters when you hold the camera. 3.0 is like on another level, and so I can do a lot more kind of crazy stuff, and it holds the image together pretty well. However, I would say make sure that based off of the profile that you're using, you spend a little time customizing it because when you have it on boost, it crops in quite a bit, and that actually causes you to lose some resolution. And so as you dial it back, you end up getting a wider field of view, hence a little bit better of an image. And so now you're in a position to set your image up to be as best as possible as you capture it. Don't get me wrong. One of the things you lose with the Hero 9 versus like the Hero 7 is that the camera grip won't fit with it anymore, which means that you're not going to get like gimbal type stabilization, but you're going to get really good stabilization for just one particular device. The other thing that you get with this is that you get this new profile with with horizon stabilization, which is a nice way to be able to make sure that you're even when you're filming yourself or filming a moving subject like running behind someone. And where I don't have the max model lens, this gave me a nice little preview of what that would be like, and I'm actually now considering picking that up. And now for the last tip, you want to be able to master the light. That ultimately is a lot of what makes GoPro footage work really well. It is a very small sensor camera, so it needs a lot of light. This is why when you try to film on like very cloudy days, it looks like garbage. This is why when it is not very well lit, it looks like garbage. If you look at a lot of the GoPro commercials, action, lifestyle aside, look at the colors that are present there and look at what is happening within the frame. A lot of times it's a lot of blue, it's a lot of sun, it's a lot of surfaces for the light to reflect off of. We can do that. And being able to put ourselves in a position to be able to understand like where the light is coming from and be able to control what light is going into the sensor is going to be critical. Now, one of the things that I have upgraded about the way that I use the GoPro now is I went ahead and purchased the Hero 9 filters by Polar Pro, because now we've got the removable lens again. And so I like the fact that I can twist it on as opposed to clip it on. That's part of the reason why I never went with the Hero 8. But now you can take advantage of that, be able to cut some of that light down, get the nice natural blur when you want it, be able to still get your camera a whole bunch of light, but be able to control that image just a little bit better. Every time we can make our footage just a little bit better, we're in a position to not have bad footage, and that's going to make the editing process so much easier. There we have it. 5 things that are going to help fix bad GoPro footage before you hit record. Let's summarize it. Let's break it down. Number 1, make sure your shot selection is on point. Number 2, match those shots to the right shooting situation. Number 3, lock in those presets. That way you can make it repeatable. Number 4, make sure your image is stabilized. Nobody wants any shaky footage unless that's the thing that you're going for. And then number 5, become a master of light. The beauty is with all these things where I did feature the GoPro Hero 9, most of them you will not need the GoPro Hero 9 in order to make these things happen. And that's the point of a video like this, is where I like to feature a newer product. I like to give you some information that you can take and make available to a previous version. If this has been helpful to you at all, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Not only does it let me know that this video is working for you, but it helps it show up for someone else. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell. That way you know when the next video is up. My question of the day: how are you using a GoPro? I don't know about you, but I don't live an action sports life, but I do enjoy using the camera. And I'd love to connect with some more folks to see what type of ways they're using GoPros in their everyday life. So be sure to leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas.